So I was thinking maybe I should have come in costume. And I was thinking to myself, I want something scary this year. You know, I've done the princesses and things like that before, but I want a really frightening costume, and I looked for a costume of George W. Bush. Well, unfortunately, John McCain already had it. But I gotta tell you, this Halloween, there is something a lot more scary and frightening than ghosts and goblins. And that's the prospect of 4 more years of the same. So when you're taking kids around, or maybe some of you doing it yourself tonight, and you say to people, trick or treat, that kind of describes this election. Are we going to be tricked again by the same old Republican tactics? Are we going to be tricked by promises of change from the same crew that has just dished out this economic crisis and so many other problems? Well, there's an old saying, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Don't let anybody you know be tricked by the Republican Party again this year. Let's have a treat. Let's have leadership we can believe in to bring about change that we need. I'm excited about this election because I know that we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Now, I'm happy to be here because, after all, this election is going to determine what happens to all of us. Look around. Every single issue you care about is up in the air. It is scary. And that's why you have to spend the next days talking to everybody you know. Now, I bet some of you know some people who are still undecided. Maybe you even know some that are leaning in the wrong direction. So I'm deputizing every one of you. I want you to go out and make the case for Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And I'm not asking you to take a leap of faith. I'm asking you just to look at the evidence. You know, within living memory, we can make a comparison. We have 8 years of a Democratic president and 8 years of this Republican president. And if you just draw the contrast, that's a pretty strong argument. As I recall, during the last Democratic administration, which I vaguely remember, we saw the creation of 22 million new jobs. More people lifted out of poverty than at any time in recent history. The average American family saw their income go up $7,500, and this Democratic president, who I know quite well, was a good steward of your tax dollars because we ended up with a balanced budget and a surplus in the federal budget. Now, contrast that to what we've seen the last 8 years. The worst job creation record since the Great Depression, which is not much of a recommendation. Instead of a $7,500 increase, the average American family has seen their income go down $2,000. And people who worked really hard to get themselves and their families out of poverty are slipping back in. And we've seen the doubling of our national debt and the highest deficits in history. So I want you to tell your friends and your neighbors, the people you work with, and maybe even some family members, there's no comparison. We are in an economic crisis born and bred of failed Republican policies. And the Democrats know what to do. We've done it before, and we can do it again. It took a Democratic president to clean up after the first President Bush, and it's going to take a Democratic president to clean up after this President Bush.